Hello, and welcome back to the Poker Donk TV. I'm your donk, Sparky. Today we've got a final table with the 330 KO series event, 7 max. Just a heads up, I had to record the audio after the fact because my microphone wasn't working. So hopefully that's not too off-putting. I'll just try and talk you through some of the bigger spots and situations and see how it's going. So let's get into the first hand. So it's fairly early doors, obviously open the aces under the gun here. Obviously really wanting some action from some of the shorter stacks. I didn't really ever read anyone at the table at this point. When we're two tabled, they seem to go quite quickly, so I didn't really have time to get a read on anybody, so I didn't really know how I know what kind of range this guy had, but I think here you usually go for a standard c-bet and see where you're at. So here you want to size up a wee bit more. Protecting against some draws, so this is a weird spot. I should have probably went for a bet here, a bit of a blocker / value bet, and I think you would have called it King 10, I think, from what I remember. So missed a wee bit of value there maybe, but decent pot to start the final table anyway. Next time we pick up the threes and we see a shove under the gun. A reshove from Desai, who binks top to it and holds, and just like that we were down to 6 and a wee pay jump there. And then next time we pick up the jack, so it's quite a start to the final table. So obviously here we're going to 3-bet this up here from the button. It can be open a wide range from the button. We are quite a good hand, obviously 2 bounties in play, so we should raise it up here. And we see a shove from the big blind, which is obviously, you would imagine it's a strong range. I think we still call up with bounties in play. And then we see a reshove from the button. So I swirled in this one whether to call or not. I think with bounties in play this is still a call, but I think it's a very marginal spot. I think I tanked and eventually made the call, but I wasn't 100% on, obviously that's why I was tanking, because I wasn't sure. But with bounties I think you just call, and we're up against ace king suited and queens. And we, it runs out with the king and nobody busts, which is the worst possible result. So we've lost nearly just over half our stack there, and we get 10 the next hand. So we've had 4 pocket pairs and 4 hands. So big blind defended. It's obviously not a great flop for the 10s, but I still think you need to c-bet here. Obviously it hits our range more than it's going to hit theirs. They probably would have shoved aces, any sort of ace. Just pick up a diamond draw on the turn, and I think I knitted up here. I just checked back because we just lost that massive pot and I didn't want to do any more damage. I think we probably should have bet again there on the turn, given we've got a diamond draw and we can maybe check back the river, but we get shoved on, so I'm assuming we were beat there. So see an open from the cut off. I was going to open the button with the king 7 suited there, but really wanted one of the big stacks to shove on Marco here. He would have flopped a flush draw. Desai has just peeled one off. You wouldn't think he's got a big hand here. So a c-bet and a call. It's an interesting move that I picked up a pair and a flush draw at this point. So it goes for another bet Marco here. And instantly called SI shoves in the river. You think this has got to be two pair or better here. Marco makes a call with ace 10 and then SI gets on the river with ace 7, so we're down to 5 after that hand. So I'd been basically blinded away. I was getting short and I was getting picked on because I've obviously got a big bounty, so I shoved the ace 8 under the gun here. We get it through. I mean, with 6 blind, you would think somebody would take a punt on me there, given I've got a decent sized bounty, but we got a shove through there. Pick up ace 4 the next hand. And this guy addicted was, he was raising my big blind virtually every time. I mean, it could just be they had hands, or he was, I don't know, maybe he just didn't rate my ability or something, I don't know, but he was raising my big blind every time. Makes a shove from Paperboy here, so we didn't even get a decision there with ace 4, but we're really struggling at this point for hands. And as I say, we're getting no respite from addicted and we're winning the big blind. So we get the ace 9 a couple of hands later. I mean, I think we just have to go with this. We're by far the short stack here. I don't know, maybe this is a bit of a punt when we've got no full equity, but I just felt as if I was getting no hands and this was the best I could hope for. So we get 2 to the flop. It's not the worst, but it's not the great of flops. You would think we were probably behind. That's a good turn, but they check it down. So if they're checking it down, it's a good sign for us. The jack was not a good sign. I was kind of, I just expected GG at this point. They check. Desai had ace 8 and I think Paperboy had king 10 offsuit. So we trebled up without even hitting a pair there, which was quite good. So we're back in it at this point. That was a good treble up considering we didn't even hit the flop. Let me see, we see a bit of a cooler. Desai was slow playing the jacks for some reason. Spiked the jack. 2 out for Desai. He was running quite hot at this point. Just like that, we were down to 4. That was a good ladder for us, given we're down to 6 blinds, $88 locked up now. So addicted again, predictable. He was raising my big blind constantly, and I think I just decided to defend here. I think this is quite a loose defend. I don't think you should be defending off 18, 19 blinds with 9-8 offsuit all that often. Flopped a pair. Addicted checked it back, which was surprising because I was playing quite aggressive. Desai puts a bet in. I mean, given we've flopped a pair, I think we've got to peel one here, but obviously we're not loving the spot. This is probably the worst hand I played at the final table. I don't remember any other hands I played this poorly, I think. So the turn we've got a gut shot now with a long with our middle pair. Checks around. So I was thinking about putting a wee blocker bet in here, but I think I decided just to check because again, it was a badly played hand on my part. I shouldn't really be getting involved here, I don't think. So addicted eventually stuck out an 8 blind bet. I tanked for a while, considering what I could have here. I felt like calling because, you know, it's a weird line he's taking. He checked back the flop, he called the turn, and then he's just bet the river. He could just be putting the rest of us in nothing, or maybe he's hit a set of 7s or something. I don't know. I didn't want to waste half my stack, so I eventually tank folded, I think. But it'll be interesting to see what people's thoughts are on there. What kind of, if that's a call. I've I've not asked anybody else if that was a call or not. I don't think it probably is. Anyway, we get the ace-7 suited, small blind. I was tempted to shove here, but I think we're given our stack. I think we're getting called. Plus there's a bit of a punt, let's face it, a7 there would be a bit of a punt. So it goes 3-way to a flop. We would have flop top here, but obviously we're kicker, got massive fishes. So checked around. I mean, we could have had the best hand here, but I did he'd led. Maybe. Eventually a tank call from Paperboy. And addicted to the 6, so either maybe we could have got a shove through there, I don't know. Anyway, it's from round in orbit, pick up King Jack suited in the big blind. Again, we were kind of struggling at this point, we're just getting hand and finding spots to get our chips in. Again, this is another spot where you could be tempted to shove. I just decided to defend. Flop a gut shot. I could have led turn as well here. I was being quite passive at this point, to be honest. I was kind of... Yeah, I eventually folded that. I don't know, maybe that's a shove pre-flop. Again, given the ICM, I didn't really want to just jam it in with King Jack and hope for the best over ahead. Anyway, I pick up an ace, so small blind, it's obviously a jam. Obviously not really wanting a call, because even against garbage hands like Jack 10 or Queen Jack, you know, you're still kind of a flip. We get called by Jack 8. It's not a good flop. Had an ace, so he's got limited outs. I mean, we managed to hold, which is good. That was a good double. So we see a raise from Desai, shove from Paperboy, call with the King Jack. Obviously, we're wanting a King Jack. He spikes the King. There's the ace. And there's another ace. So that was a double up for Paperboy. That was really the worst case scenario at that point, because us and Paperboy were similar stacks, and we were obviously holding out for a ladder at that point. So with the ace 9, I think this is just a jam, given that we're by far the short stack now. We don't really want to we get called by a6. We hit the 9. We just have to fade the 7, and we get a double up off a Paperboy. That's quite a loose call in my opinion, but maybe with the bounties in play, just felt we had to go for it. So ace 4, we just open it up here. Paperboy jams on us. Obviously we're folding, but I don't remember at this point opening too many pots, so that was kind of the story of my final table. I just, every time I had half a hand, someone else seemed to have a better hand. But anyway, pick up the ace queen, and obviously we're going with this hand, so Desai opens from the button. We're obviously clearly jamming here. And if he calls, we're hoping he's got a weaker ace, or we're flipping. He's got ace 9, so obviously we need to fade. And we hit trip queens, which is brilliant. And then that's us with a double up. So we're actually the chip leader now, which is kind of ridiculous considering we're down to 6 blinds and 7 blinds. So at this point I decided I'm opening up my range, because I've been sitting tight and not playing. I'm the chip leader now, so I can boss these about, so I opened up the king 3 offsuit from the small blind. We've been playing four-handed for quite a while now, because the blinds went up, and as I say, the shot we're getting shorter and shorter. Yeah, and I just wanted to become the table captain after all that, so I see an open from Paperboy here. Re-raised from Addicted. Let me see a shove from Paperboy. So that was a weird 3-bet fold from Addicted there. I mean, he's put a quarter of his stack in and folded. That's not a very optimal play. Anyway, we open the 8s next hand. And we just get it through. So Desai with 5.7 blinds, it jams it in. I think I'm calling here if Paperboy doesn't call or raise. Paperboy just flats. So given he's got a $37 bounty, I decided to peel here and just hope. You know, obviously we flop something amazing. We flop middle pair, which is something, but given Paperboy checked, I thought he could be on an ace here, so I went for a bet. In hindsight, I probably just preferred a check back here. I don't know, because I think he could be check jamming quite wide here, given the bounty in play. Anyway, he does check jam, and we can have to obviously laid in our hand, but I was tempted for a while there. Considering there's 2 bounties in play, you know, it's not just dead size at this point. Paperboy's bounty is also in play now. And he's either got, you know, 3 kings, 2 aces, ace king, but he's got aces, and we would have turned an 8, which is a bit annoying, but anyway. We got a bust away anyway, so we're down to $330 in cashes. I think we had about $50 in bounties at this point, so we had 10s. I decided to trap and try and limp, just limp and try and trap Addicted here. He went for it, Addicted with ace 4. We just had to fade the 3 outs, and we faded, and we were just like that, and back to back hands were heads up, and that was an okay bounty as well, I suppose. Heads up. So we got 50 blinds each in this heads up, so obviously quite a lot of play. I decided to open Queen 3, and I think you should be opening pretty much any hand when you're that deep. When you're 50 blinds deep, I think you should be opening quite a lot of hands. So after a while, we're kind of been back and forth for a couple of min raises and a couple of pots. Nothing really major was happening. But this was a good maybe 15-20 hands later. Obviously, we raise up the king 10, we flop an open ender, go for a c bet. He calls. So obviously, you're going to size up here, I think, a wee bit in the turn. You've obviously still got a lot of equity. He could be defending with quite a wide range. But a 10 in the river. So we do have some showdown value now. We obviously check it back, and he did have the spade draw. He also picked up a pair in the turn, so that's fair dues. But we'll open up a wee advantage. I was tempted again to either 3-bet, but given we're quite deep, I didn't really want to jam him jamming on me with ace-7, so I just peeled. So obviously we've underrepresented, so we're going to have to check call here at least twice, I think. Jack's not a good card. But we probably have the best hand if he doesn't have the jack, you know. He's not likely to have a deuce, I don't think. So as I say, we check call twice. The river's kind of a brick, so I think I was prepared to call another bet here if he decided to go for it. He didn't go for it. I think he turned over like 10-8 or something like that. Anyway, at this point we're feeling good about ourselves. We seem to be outplaying the guy, so I was raising quite a lot. Here's Queen 7, as you can see. So obviously just going for c-bets, so obviously we represent more of these hands than he does. We pick up a queen. So again, I just decided to size up here. It's unlikely he's got an ace, and he folds. So Queen 9, obviously this is an open. He defends. That's not a great flop for Queen 9, but It's kind of, it's empty, it doesn't hit their range all that well. I think it's decided to check back because I was been c-betting virtually 100% of the hand, so I thought a wee check back would be in order. Pick up a gut shot in the turn. So given we've got position, we've got a gut shot, we've got two high cards, I decided just to peel the river and we hit the miracle card for us. So obviously we're hoping he's got some sort of jack or even two pair. Just hoping he's got anything here we can call a shove. So he leads quite big, and obviously we tank a wee bit and we shove it in hoping he can call it down here with anything. I mean, obviously he could have a jack and call us. He could maybe even have a 10 and call us, but he didn't call us. Anyway, at this point, obviously we've got a chip advantage now. We've been outplaying him mostly. Maybe we've just been hitting hands. Again, here we defend with 7-6. We flop top pair and a gut shot, so we're prepared to go for our hand. We bet the turn, and he calls. So at this point, I check, and I'm instantly calling if he jams here. I just know I've got the best hand if he jams. He jams, and I snap call him, and just like that. Just like that, we pick up the W. I felt really good. I felt as if I played really well in that final table. $436.11, $230 on bounties nearly. Yeah, I felt really good. I mean, the jack spot against the queens and the ace king, that was a 6 spot. I've ran it through, someone ran it through silvers for me, and it does say it's a marginal call with jacks. I think, given it's low stakes, it's probably, I don't know if it's a call half the time, to be honest. I think their ranges are narrower than what the solvers would normally say, but anyway, we came back from 6 blinds and 7 blinds a couple of times and hung in there. Ended up running good at the end there, and we just bossed that heads up. That was the best I've played in a while. I hope you enjoyed it anyway, even if I had to record the audio afterwards, because I don't know, my microphone's been, anytime I go to record anything now, the microphone's not been working, so maybe I need a new microphone or something. But yeah, second biggest win ever. So thanks for watching, see you next time.